the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him nothing was made that was made.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved.
Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. It's Untethered Live on a Monday night, and I'm your host, Jake Johnson, and tonight it's Bible study night. Tonight we're in the great book of Genesis, chapter 23, verse 3. That's where we left off last night. That's where we're going to pick up tonight. How are you out there in the world? How are things? How was dinner? What did you have for dinner? Who's first in chat? Kevin Bernard's first in chat. What's up, my brother? Nice to see you, my friend. Thank you for being first. You get a gold star for being first. Kevin says, hello, Jake, Amanda, and everyone. Hey, hi, how are you? Nice to see you. What did you have for dinner? Debbie says, Kevin, we still have 30 minutes. Get back in the basement. Good gracious, can't get a break. And Debbie says, hello, everyone, when you get here. Hi, how are you? I saw you 30 minutes ago. I was getting ready. Amy's here. She says, Peter 5:6-7. Humble yourselves then under God's mighty hand so that he will lift you up in his own good time. Yes. Leave all your worries with him because he cares for you. Amen to that. Yeah, you have to decrease so that he can increase. And when he increases you. Kind of funny how that works. You got to humble yourself to be exalted. God looks after you, though. He does. That's a beautiful verse. Thank you, Amy. Kevin says, smiley, smiley, smiley. Amanda says, Kevin, here's your gold star. And hi, Kevin, Debbie, and Amy. Hamburger helper hand. And hello, Untethered Live family. Good to see you all. I hope everybody had a good day. Hiya, Jake. How are you tonight? I am frisky. A little chilly, but I got a nice hot cup of coffee. Don't you want to have a cup with me? If you'd like to have a cup with me, go to the kitchen, pour yourself up a nice hot cup, and let's get to talking about Bible stuff. If you don't have a cup, you can get one in the description below. I recommend the first one. It has my face on it, but there's other stuff down there too, including a new line of Freedom America t-shirts. So go check those out. You might like them, you might not, whatever. Like, subscribe, share, support, join, and super chats are available in the chat box. If you'd like to show a little bit of love, if you'd like to, you can do that by going to CashApp, $JakeJohnsonBand, or PayPal.me/JakeJohnsonBand. I greatly appreciate that if you do. And one last thing, if you'd like to hang out with us outside of the YouTuberverse, get to know each other, you can do that over at Facebook.com/UntetheredLiveChillin'. The link is in the chat somewhere. It's a great place to hang out, share pictures, videos, text, and chat, and get to know one another. Meme like crazy. There's a lot of them over there. You'll love it. It is updated regularly with videos that are adjacent to or concerning the things we talk about over here. It has a group chat that's just us. It's private, not the rest of Facebook, just us. So you can talk over there with relative ease and understanding that it's something quasi-private. So you can do that over there. It's yours. It's free. It's entertaining. Might as well. Go check it out. And now, on with the show. I'm so full. I had a lovely dinner tonight. It's pork nuggets or tenderloin and cabbage with some pork meat in that, cornbread and macaroni and cheese. It was delicious. Yes, yes. Just a few minutes ago, she handed me my cup of coffee and said, Here, Your Highness. She's treating me like a king and feeding me like a god. Lowercase g, of course. You know how I know that? Because she's always offering up every night. She offers up a burnt offering. I'm just kidding. It was good. This is where I need a laugh track. She's not laughing for some reason. Maybe it didn't register. Or maybe she's just seething under the surface and ready to attack me with a knife when I walk around the corner. One way or the other. It was hilarious to me. Judy's here. She says, hey, Kevin. And Judy says, hey, Debbie. And Judy says, hey, Amy. And Judy says, hey, Jake and Amanda. Hi, Judy. How are you? Comma. Camellia. Amanda says, Judy, hamburger, help her hand. And here's the link to the chilling page. Kevin says, hello, Judy. Hello, Judy. Amy says, hi, everybody, hamburger, help her hand. Hi, Amy. How are you? Rachel's here. Hey, Rachel. How are you? Nice to see you. Rachel says, hello. Hello. How are you? Are you ready for some Bible studying? Amanda says, hamburger, help her hand, Rachel. Sorry, my chat jumped. Here we go. Amy says, like, shared, and invited some friends. Yes. Thank you very much, Amy. And Amy says, hi, Rachel. And what it is here says, hello, Jake, and to all that are in here. Hello, what it is. Nice to see you. Linda says, hi, all in chat. Hamburger, help her hand. Hi, Linda. Nice to see you. Amanda says, what it is. Hamburger, help her hand. Linda, hamburger, help her hand. Judy says, hey, Rachel. And hey, what it is. Rachel says, how are y'all? Roll call. Nice to see you. I'm fantastic. How about yourself? Amy says, I called into work tonight. I feel guilty about it. People depend on me being there, but I can't take care of others if I don't take care of myself. Well, you just said it right there. If you don't take care of yourself, you can't very well take care of others, so you shouldn't feel guilty about it. You need time. Didn't you tell me you had a whole bunch of time saved up where you could take paid time off? This is where you need it for this moment right here. You shouldn't feel guilty at all. Take care of yourself. Get to feeling better. Judy says, hey, Linda, and I hope you get to feeling better. Amanda says, good, Rachel, how are you? Amy says, it's not my fault. My parents gave me good work ethics. But you did call in. So, I'm just kidding. No, it's not your fault. You need to rest. And you need to get your health up. So drink lots of fluids, take whatever medication you need to take, get you back in order, get your feet back in order, get your mind back in order, get to feeling better, and then go back and tackle it with gusto. You'll be fine. I'm sure they won't be too upset about it. Especially if you're as dependable as you say you are. They're not going to worry about one day. And Rachel says, I'm okay, I guess, LOL. I got bronchitis. Well, that's not okay. How did you get bronchitis? And can you give it back? What it is says cornbread. Yeah, cornbread. That's how we roll around here. Nice cornbread. But the cabbage was kind of in a soup with some pork meat inside of it. It was like a cabbage stew, kind of. Whatever, it was delicious. Judy says, that is a blessing, Amy. It is. Amanda says, fried cornbread, LOL. There ain't but one kind of cornbread. That other stuff ain't cornbread. I know people call it that, but that ain't what it is. It's more like a cake. It's like cornmeal cake. Or it's some kind of crackling without the crackling in it. Haha, Jake, you're funny. I got your burnt offering. Oh, you did hear me. I'm used to hearing you laugh at my jokes. It was funny. You should have laughed. Anyway, Amy says, Buddha belly. Yep, that's me. Matter of fact, she made a comment about that today, too. What is all this? It's good food. That's what it is. Ice cream at 6 o'clock in the morning. or midnight. Ugh. And Judy says, LOL, Amanda. And Judy says, good, Jake. How about you? I'm doing all right. I can't complain. Got a nice, good cup of coffee here. That always helps. I'm a little spacey because I just took a nap. And it's one of those that you just fall asleep and the alarm clock rings. So it's right back awake, you know. So my brain hadn't focused in yet. But other than that, I'm good. Nice, easy day today. For once, a day that nothing went wrong in. I can enjoy that. Amanda says, yes, he absolutely has a Buddha belly, Amy, and rubs it like a genie bottle. Well, when you got a belly, you got to rub it. It's a food, baby, says Amy. It's something that's got to go. I know that. I can't keep it. But I did eat a lot today, so that's probably why it's poking out. It was good dinner, though. All jokes aside, I love those little pork nuggets, as she calls them. They're actually tenderloins. Usually cut them in like dime size or quarter size chunks and then fry them up. So they were pretty good. She said she thought she had a pork chop in there, but it wasn't. It was just a hunk of pork. Yep. That's what you do with a hunk of pork. Well, it's Monday, and Mondays are usually blasé, but today wasn't so bad, so I think we're going to have a good read tonight. We had a good one last night. Got intense. That story about Abraham and Isaac always gets to me. Because of the implication, because of what it's talking about retrospectively, you know. It's pretty intense. Amy says, hype the video to bring in others to the stream. To bring into others' stream. Yep. I don't know how to do that, though. There's a button somewhere, hype the video, but I hadn't found it. I've been told about it, but I hadn't seen it. Pump up the volume. That's what I say. Pump up the volume. Dance. Remember that movie, Pump Up the Volume? Somebody was asking me about a movie recently. The movie was Eyes Wide Shut. And the question was, is this Stanley Kubrick trying to warn us about the Epstein files? The answer to that is no, because he didn't know about the Epstein files, because Epstein wasn't a thing when he made that movie. Or if he was a thing, nobody knew his name. But, yes, because that sort of thing has been going on for a very long time. And Epstein is just the face of it right now. And he's dead now or not. He might be alive in Israel playing Fortnite, but that's beside the point. But the thing that they're missing is when he died, someone else took his place. That's someone we don't know. In another location, another name, everybody went to that guy. Someone took his place because that evil has been here since the Dark Ages, and it's going to keep being here long after Jeffrey Epstein. He's just the current iteration of it. In England, the guy was Jimmy Savile. Same guy, same deal, same situation 20 years prior. That happens. So look it up. But yeah, that movie is trying to shed light on a situation about the world that the average person doesn't know. That there are things that go bump in the night. There are secret societies. There are people getting away with things that the average everyday person isn't even aware is going on, and it's usually right under their noses. And there's a lot of things, little details in that movie. If you go watch that movie and pay real close attention, there's a lot of stuff right under the surface, little things he does or says or things that are said around him or things that are happening around him that leads you into believing that there are other things in this world even worse than the thing we're talking about. The movie's talking about one kind of thing, but there's even worse things going on. And it's a pretty dark movie. It also contains an actual love scene between Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. Not a movie love scene. They actually did it on camera. So it's real. And they were married at the time. It's okay, but they did film it. Amanda says the hype button is in the chat area after the video uploads. Okay. Amy says press the heart icon on the right side. An emoji menu comes up, and keep pressing the heart and you can see it on the video. Yeah, but I don't think that's hype. I think hype is the button that happens after you upload. I'm not sure that that'll do anything but give a bunch of hearts. I don't know. I'm not sure. I've never seen that do anything other than give a bunch of hearts. I'd like to know how it works. If you could explain it to me, that would be wonderful. Amanda says, oh yeah, guess what? Y'all guess what? I was told today I'm deplorable. LOL, funny. Well, at least I'm not stupid. But I'm just saying. Let me guess. You were told you were deplorable by somebody here. Fab Daddy? That's what I'm guessing. Am I right? You're correct. At least you're not stupid. Yes. And Judy says, proud deplorable here. Amen, sister. What I did see, Fab Daddy was hitting Amanda up earlier on the page or somewhere involving something she posted about something I said the other night on Politics about the Fulton, Georgia. And he's still clinging to the fact that was, he thinks it's a lie. So Amanda gave him receipts. Here's the documents that say that what he said was true. And then he came back with deplorable, I'm guessing. So, Fab Daddy, if you're listening, I'm sorry. You're just wrong on this one. Amanda says, LOL, right, Judy? And Amanda says, yep, but Fab. I knew it was Fab. I could hear it in his voice. Never in his text. When you said deplorable, I knew who you were talking about. Pushing the heart button in a YouTube live used by creators on Super Chats or users' comments act as a like or a love gesture. It highlights the message to all viewers. Pushing. Is that the same thing that's in the comments, though? That sounds like if you leave a comment and then press the heart button a bunch of times on the comment. Is that the same thing that's in this little box over here?
Yeah, that's in the live chat.
Okay.
That's what Amy's talking about.
Okay, I got you. That makes sense. So if you press the heart button a bunch of times in a live chat, it what? It highlights the chat?
It's what it does right there. It just acts like a light or a love gesture. And then it says the viewers show appreciation and can generate increased engagement. It just gives you more engagement.
So when people see hearts, they give hearts.
Yes,
That's right, with people inside the chat. Yeah, it's not hyping it to other people outside the chat. That's the thing I was asking. Yeah, it's all contained in the chat.
Yes, and then the next two is the actual hype.
Yeah, okay. All right, so the YouTube hype button that occurs after it's uploaded, you can see a button that says hype. mobile-first feature designed to help small to mid-sized creators boost their new long-form videos within 7 days of release. Users can click the hype button up to 3 times per week for free to give creators points, potentially placing them on the weekly top hyped leaderboard, which increases discoverability. All right, so if you want to hype the video after it uploads to YouTube, go click that button that says hype, and that'll put it up on the leaderboard. That's how that works. That's what I was asking. I thought there was more to it than just hitting the heart. All right. And that's correct. You do awesome, Amy. Keep it up. I'm not trying to correct you. I just thought there was more to it than that. Amy says, I tried. No, you're fine. I just thought there was something else to hyping a video, and we just figured out what it was. I've never knew that. I didn't know how that worked. So Amanda just cleared it up. But all right. We got a great read to get into tonight, and I just wanted to wait till everybody got here. Looks like ain't nobody coming in, so we're going to get on going. If you got your Bibles handy, crack them open to Genesis 23:3. And let's go down, shall we? Boom. I need a book, though. All right. We left off last night at the death of Sarah. And we're going to pick up with him arguing about a well. Let's see what happens. Chapter 23, verse 3, and it reads, And Abraham stood up from before his dead and spake unto the sons of Heth, saying, I am a stranger and a sojourner with you. Give me a possession of a burying place with you, that I may bury my dead out of my sight, meaning his wife. And the children of Heth answered Abraham, saying unto him, Hear us, my lord, lowercase l. Thou art a mighty prince among us. In the choice of our sepulchres bury thy dead. None of us shall withhold from thee his sepulchre, but that thou mayest bury thy dead. In other words, take your pick. Not one of us is going to stop you. You can use any one of our sepulchres to bury your wife in, because we think you're a big dude and we like to keep you here, which is the way you do if you're a small town. You want the guy with money to be in your town making you money. Truth be told, Audits, what's up, brother? Nice to see you. I'm here, brother, says truth be told. Nice to see you, buddy. I hope you're doing well. And Abraham stood up and bowed himself to the people of the land, even to the children of Heth. Thank you, my friends, he says. And he communed with them, saying, If it be your mind that I should bury my dead out of my sight, hear me, and entreat for me to Ephron, the son of Zohar, that he may give me the cave Machpelah, which he hath. It's his. The son of Zohar owns this little cave. Machpelah, which is Klingon for little cave, which is in the end of his field. For as much money as it is worth, he shall give it to me for a possession of a burying place amongst you. So he's basically saying, thank you for the offer, and I like this cave, but I'd like to pay for it for whatever it's worth. I don't want you to give me anything. I'm not looking for a handout. I want to pay for it so that later on down the road, there's no if, ands, or buts. There's no who did what and why. There's no, oh, I didn't say you could bury there. No. If I buy it, it's mine, and we don't have any issues. So I want to pay for it, says Abraham, which is smart. If you accept a gift, there's always the inevitability that somebody's going to turn back on you and pull it out of your mouth, which is not a good thing to do. He didn't want to have that situation concerning the burial place of his wife, so he wants to pay for it. And Ephron dwelt among the children of Heth, and Ephron the Hittite answered Abraham in the audience of the children of Heth, even of all that went in at the gate of his city, saying, Nay, my lord, hear me. The field I give thee, and the cave that is therein I give it thee. In the presence of the sons of my people give I it thee. Bury thy dead. Abraham bowed himself again, saying, Thank you, before the people of the land. And he spake unto Ephron in the audience of the people of the land, saying, But if thou wilt give it to me, I pray thee, hear me. I will give thee money for the field. Take it of me, and I will bury my dead there. No. I hear your offer, and I raise you. Let me pay for it. And Ephron answered Abraham, saying unto him, My lord, hearken unto me. The land is worth 400 shekels of silver. What is that betwixt me and thee? Bury therefore thy dead. I don't care, it's not worth much, it's 400 shekels. What's 400 shekels between old friends? Abraham hearkened unto Ephron, and Abraham weighed to Ephron the silver, which he had named in the audience of the sons of Heth, 400 shekels of silver, current money with the merchants. Not no garbage, this is current Heth money. And the field of Ephron, which was in Machpelah, which was before Mamre, the field and the cave which was therein, and all the trees that were in the field, that were in all the borders round about, were made sure unto Abraham for a possession in the presence of all the children of Heth, before all that went in at the gate of the city. We have witnesses. Not only did I buy it, I bought it at a good price, and everybody witnessed it. So there's no question this is Abraham's field and his cave. So inevitably, when somebody comes to claim that land, Abraham can say, oh, no, contraire, mon frère. I bought that land fair and square. It's mine. This will come into play later, by the way. Later it will matter that he paid for this cave. Later it will matter who owns this piece of property. Moving on. And after this, Abraham buried Sarah his wife in the cave of the field of Machpelah before Mamre, the same as Hebron in the land of Canaan. That's the old name, Machpelah. The new name is Hebron. And the field and the cave that is therein were made sure unto Abraham for a possession of a burying place by the sons of Heth. And Abraham was old and stricken in age. He then got up there. And the Lord had blessed Abraham in all things. He's rich. He's got it all. And Abraham said unto his eldest servant of the house that ruled over all that he had, he says, Put, I pray thee, thy hand under my thigh, and I will make thee swear by the Lord and the God of heaven and the God of the earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I dwell. What is he doing here? What does this mean? This is a point of contention amongst atheists and people that like to question the Bible. What is this pervert doing, making his servant put his hand under his thigh? I would like to point you to the line above that, where it says that he's old and stricken in age and laying in bed. Well, put your hand under my thigh means, hey, servant, come over here and lift me up so we can talk face to face. Pick me up. Sit me up on the bed. It's their way of saying that. It's not a weird thing. It's not a sexual thing. He's asking the servant to sit him up so that they can have a conversation about business. A man don't like to conduct business laying down. Put thy hand under thy thigh and lift me up. That's the implication. And I will make thee swear by the Lord, the God of heaven and the God of earth, that thou shalt not take a wife unto my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, among whom I dwell. These people, I don't want to be married to these people. Make sure that you take a wife that is suitable for my bloodline to spread. These people ain't it. Why? Why does he care about these people? Is he a racist? No. No. Canaan. Remember what's in Canaan. Remember why the world was destroyed. Canaan has an influx of the fallen angels that live in that area. There are 9 tribes that live in Canaan. 5 of them are half-breeds, and the other 4 are just people that are involved in all of that. Sojourners and such. People that migrated to the area. All are wicked. So he's right in saying, don't marry into the Canaanites. God will make that distinction later on. Right now, Abraham is saying it. Don't marry these people. They're not good people. Of course, he's talking about his son, Isaac. He says, but thou shalt go unto my country and to my kindred and take a wife unto my son Isaac. Go back to my people. Get some Abrahamic bloodline for my kid to marry so that they can have babies that come from my bloodline. It's a very smart thing to do. And the servant said unto him, peradventure the woman will not be willing to follow me into this land. Must I needs bring thy son again unto the land from whence thou camest? Yeah, it's not going to work very easy for you to go all the way to a foreign land, jump out and ask a woman, hey, I got a dude that wants to marry you. Follow me. And then drag her into another country. That's not going to work. You're going to have to take the guy to her. And Abraham said unto him, Beware thou that thou bring not my son thither again. Don't bring my son there again. The Lord God of heaven, which took me from my father's house and from the land of my kindred, and which spake unto me, and that sware unto me, saying, Unto thy seed will I give this land, Canaan. He shall send his angel before thee, and thou shalt take a wife unto my son from thence. In other words, go there, and an angel will show you who to take. And if the woman be not willing to follow thee, then thou shalt blunk her over the head with a stick and drag... No, he didn't say that. Thou shalt be clear from this, my oath. Only bring not my son thither again. Make it clear to the woman who you are, who you're representing, and who she's going to marry, and she'll come. But don't bring my son there. We left there, and we're not going backwards. This is allegories of backtracking, and we don't like doing that. If you're not going forward, you're not doing anything successful. So don't send him back there. Bring her here. And the servant put his hand under the thigh of Abraham, his master, and sware to him concerning the matter. He lifted him up face to face where they could talk, and he swore to him, face to face, both standing upright. And the servant took 10 camels of the camels of his master and departed, for all the good of his master were in his hand. And he arose and went to Mesopotamia, unto the city of Nahor. And he made his camels to kneel down without the city by a well of water at the time of evening, even the time that women go out to draw water. Ah, smart. He went to where the women go so that he could look and see all of them in action, see which ones are working hard, see which ones are beautiful, see which ones are doing their job well. He could have his pick. It's a smart place to look for women. You got a captive audience at the well. So while he was there, he said, O Lord God of my master Abraham, I pray thee, send me good speed this day, and show kindness unto my master Abraham. Behold, I stand here by the well of water, and the daughters of the men of the city come out to draw water. And let it come to pass that the damsel to whom I shall say, Let down thy pitcher, I pray thee, that I may drink, and she shall say, Drink, and I will give thy camels drink also. Let the same be she that thou hast appointed for thy servant Isaac. And thereby shall I know that thou hast showed kindness unto my master. So he gives God a playbook. Do it like this, and I'll recognize the sign. God doesn't really like that, by the way. And Jesus would tell you later on, don't do that. God doesn't like to be tempted. But back then, it was still acceptable somewhat to ask. But the reason God doesn't like to be tempted is because he's been showing signs for 5,000 years, and we still aren't getting the picture, and he's getting tired of doing it. Back then, it was okay. It was understandable. They didn't know who God was, and if they did know, they hadn't likely encountered him. Now everyone has had that chance, so that's why you shouldn't do it. And it came to pass, before he had done speaking, while he was still praying, that behold, Rebekah came out, who was born unto Bethel, which means house of God, or house with God in it, maybe. Something about houses and gods. Anyway, son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother, with her pitcher upon her shoulder. So this is his cousin, Isaac's cousin, which is acceptable. So she is the daughter of Abraham's brother, just so you understand what's happening here. So the two cousins are going to get married. First cousins, actually. And the damsel was very fair to look upon, a virgin, neither had any man known her. That's what virgin means. And she went down to the well and filled her pitcher and came up. And the servant ran to meet her and said, Let me, I pray thee, drink a little water from thy pitcher. You know, I would imagine that would startle her, because this guy just ran up to her because he saw her out of all these women. And here she is looking all cute and virginal, probably redheaded. And he comes running up to her. Hey, let me have a drink of your pitcher. So this also shows character, because she didn't freak out and blow her whistle or whatever it is they did in those days. Call her daddy or crack him over the head with a stick. She says, Drink, my lord. And she hastened and let down her pitcher upon her hand to give him drink out of her hand. How about that? That's a little extra chef's kiss. And when she had done giving him drink, she said, I will draw water for thy camels also until they have done drinking. Now, this is a long line of teaching from Christianity. The whole worldview is, don't just give plentiful, give righteously, give like you have something to offer, right? If a guy asks you for something to drink, you don't just give him something to drink. You give him everything he needs to drink, and then feed his camels too. If he asks you for a coat, give him your pants also, or your shoes, or whatever he needs. Make sure he's well taken care of from your gift. That's what Christians are supposed to do. So this is her being overly kind to a man she doesn't know. She doesn't know that he works for her cousin, or her uncle, rather. She might not have ever met her uncle. I don't know. She may not even know that he exists. I don't know. We'll see. In these days, people spread out pretty far. So Nahor, her dad, is Abraham's brother, but they haven't spoken in quite a while, since Abraham left and went to Canaan. She definitely wasn't born then. All right. So she hastened and emptied her pitcher into the trough and ran again unto the well and drew water and drew for all his camels. And the man, wondering at her, held his peace, to wit, whether the Lord had made his journey prosperous or not. Well, considering this is the first person you encountered when you got there, either he did or you're incredibly lucky, one or the other. I mean, you literally ran into the first person you saw and it was her. So, job well done, I guess. Didn't take you long. And it came to pass, as the camels had done drinking, that the man took a golden earring of half a shekel weight, and 2 bracelets for her hands of 10 shekels weight of gold, and said, Whose daughter art thou? Tell me, I pray thee. Is there room in thy father's house for us to lodge in? Well, that's a little presumptuous. I just gave you water. I'm not trying to bed down with you. Easy, man. I'm no prostitute. She didn't say any of that. She said unto him, I am the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, which she bare unto Nahor. Wait a minute. Nahor is Abraham's brother, right? So Bethuel is the son of Milcah, who is married to Nahor. Okay, I got it. And she said, Moreover unto him, we have both straw and provender enough, and room to lodge in. Not only do we have a place to lodge in, but we've got plenty enough to take care of your animals too. It's pretty sweet. The man bowed down his head and worshipped the Lord right there in front of her. And he said, Blessed be the Lord God of my master Abraham, who hath not left destitute my master of his mercy and his truth. I being in the way, the Lord led me to the house of my master's brethren. Amen. And the damsel ran. Well, when you start worshiping God right in front of somebody you were just talking to, it's a little disheartening, I would imagine. But she ran to tell her mother. She ran and told them of her mother's house these things. And Rebekah had a brother, and his name was Laban. And Laban ran out unto the man unto the well. And it came to pass when he saw the earring and bracelets upon his sister's hands, and when he had heard the words of Rebekah his sister, saying, Thus spake the man unto me, that he came unto the man, and behold, he stood by the camels at the well. And you'd think the brother would be there to beat his tail, right? And he said, Come in, thou blessed of the Lord. Wherefore standest thou without? For I have prepared the house and room for the camels. Come on, get in the house. It's very nice. The whole house is being very welcoming to this man. And the man came into the house, and he ungirded his camels, and gave straw and provender for the camels, and water to wash his feet, and the men's feet that were with him. So he's not alone. He's got helpers with him. And there was set meat before him to eat. But he said, I will not eat until I have told mine errand. And he said, Speak on. He said, I am Abraham's servant. And the Lord hath blessed my master greatly, and he is become great. He's rich. And he hath been given flocks and herds and silver and gold and manservants and maidservants and camels and asses. And Sarah, my master's wife, bare a son to my master when he was old, and unto him hath he given all that he hath. Go on. Sounds good so far. And my master made me swear, saying, Thou shalt not take a wife to my son of the daughters of the Canaanites, in whose land I dwell. We're from Canaan, by the way. But thou shalt go into my father's house, here, and to my kindred, and take a wife unto my son. Oh, so you're looking for a wife. I have a virginal daughter over here. Let's take her out of the room. And I said to my master, Peradventure the woman will not follow me. And he said unto me, The Lord before whom I walk, will send his angel with thee, and prosper thy way. And thou shalt take a wife from my son of my kindred and of my father's house. An angel, you say? Okay, the guy's weird. I don't see an angel. Well, I mean, I ran into your daughter as soon as I got here. I mean, she's hot, right? She's hot. So somebody's doing something for me. Knock on wood. Anyway, then shalt thou be clear from this my oath. When thou comest to my kindred, if they give not thee one, thou shalt be clear of my oath. Well, that's reassuring. So he's saying, if my kindred doesn't help you out, then you don't owe me anything. You did what you were sent to do. I'm sending you to get my son a wife, but if you come away empty-handed, I won't hold it against you. That's what Abraham's saying. But don't come away empty-handed. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, and I came this day unto the well and said, O Lord God of my master Abraham, if now thou do prosper my way which I go, behold, I stand by the well of water, and it shall come to pass that when the virgin cometh forth to draw water, and I say to her, give me, I pray thee, a little water out of thy pitcher to drink, and she say to me, both drink thou, and I will also draw for thy camels, let the same be the woman whom the Lord hath appointed out for my master's son. And the guy said, yeah, I'm with you so far. No. It was your daughter. She's the one that did. She said that. Oh, I see what you're doing now. Did you say he was rich? And before I had done speaking in my heart, before I was even done praying, behold, Rebekah came forth with her pitcher on her shoulder. And she went down unto the well and drew water. And I said unto her, let me drink, I pray thee. And she made haste and let down her pitcher from her shoulder and said, drink, and I will give thy camels to drink also. So I drank, and she made the camels drink also. And I asked her and said, whose daughter art thou? And she said, daughter of Bethuel, Nahor's son, whom Milcah bare unto him, which is who I'm looking for. So I put the earring upon her face and the bracelets upon her hands. Why? To show that I am of this family, that I came from this family to this family to get a wife. Anyway, I bowed down my head and worshiped the Lord and blessed the Lord God of my master Abraham, which freaked her out a little bit, which had led me in the right way to take my master's brother's daughter unto his son. Don't you think you should ask his brother's daughter's dad first? But yeah, that's kind of why I'm here. Yeah, but you're already setting in motion the things. You've already given her a dowry. You should ask me first. Yeah, don't you think? Anyway, you're not going to say no to a rich guy who happens to be related to you, right? Well, that's beside the point. Okay. Now, if you will deal kindly and truly with my master, tell me, and if not, tell me, that I may turn to the right hand or to the left. Tell me what I'm doing. I've came here. I did my part. I did what my master asked me to do. Just tell me. Can I take the girl or can't I? If I can, I'll make preparations. We'll leave in the morning. If I can't, I'll make preparations and I'll leave in the morning. I think that's fair, right? Either way, you got bracelets and a necklace or whatever it is, earring. You'll be okay. But then Laban and Bethuel answered and said, the thing proceedeth from the Lord. We cannot speak unto thee bad or good. Behold, Rebekah is before thee. Take her and go, and let her be thy master's son's wife, as the Lord hath spoken. Now, you see how easy that was? Basically, in those days, you could just gank a woman by telling her that God sent you. No proof required. That's what happened. That's how Democrats were made. Anyway. And it came to pass that when Abraham's servant heard their words, he worshipped the Lord, bowing himself to the earth. And the servants brought forth jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment, and gave them to Rebekah. He also gave to her brother and to her mother precious things. So she's going to be sent away with some precious goods of her own to add to whatever's going to be added to her when she gets there. She's excited, by the way. I know this sounds like we are dealing with a woman without her consent, like she's property, but I assure you, this is what every girl dreamed of in those days. They didn't have a future. Quite right, they had no agency. Quite right, they had no rights of their own. They were property of their father until they were married, and then they were property of their husband. So, in that reality, knowing that's the way the world works, a little girl would dream all her life that a good, successful, handsome man would come and take her to wife. Not an old, fat, disgusting pervert, which happened more often than not. So it was a fantasy for a girl to be swept off her feet by a rich young prince like Isaac. So this is actually very exciting for Rebekah right now, not the way you would interpret it today. She is more than happy to take this journey. She's probably been waiting for this for a couple of years now. I don't know exactly how old she is, but under 18. She's old enough to go draw a well by herself, so not 12. Somewhere between 12 and 18, I would guess. Probably a good 15, 16. Anyway. And they did eat and drink, he and the men that were with him, and tarried all night. And they rose up in the morning, and he said, Send me away unto my master. And her brother and her mother said, Let the damsel abide with us a few days, at least 10, and after that she shall go. And he said unto them, Hinder me not, seeing the Lord hath prospered my way. Send me away that I may go to my master. And they said, We will call the damsel and inquire at her mouth. We will ask her what she wants to do. See, now they're haggling. Well, that should have been done last night. He's like, I'm ready to go. I want to get back home. Let's take the girl and go. They're like, no, wait 10 days. Let us sit on it for a while and say goodbye properly. That's not what we agreed to. This is a crappy way to do business. So they call Rebekah to see what she's got to say about all this. See how she feels about the situation. Let's see what she says. And they called Rebekah and said unto her, Wilt thou go with this man? And she said, I'll go. Yeah, let me go. No questions asked. They were hoping they were going to get a little more out of this than what they got. Well, reluctantly, they sent away Rebekah, their sister, and her nurse, and Abraham's servant, and his men. So she gets a handmaid to go with her. And they blessed Rebekah and said unto her, Thou art our sister. Be thou the mother of thousands of millions, and let thy seed possess the gate of those which hate them. To which she replied, Hey, I was thinking 2 kids. Jesus. You want me just popping them out like a conveyor belt? Wow. Millions of thousands of millions, eh? I don't know if you're blessing me or cursing me here. And Rebekah arose and her damsels, and they rode upon the camels and followed the man, and the servant took Rebekah and went his way. Isaac came from the way of the well 𝕊𝕦𝕪𝕪, which is French for very hairy. For he dwelt in the south country, and Isaac went out to meditate in the field at eventide, or sunset. And he lifted up his eyes and saw, and behold, the camels were coming. And she was coming around the mountain when she came, riding on camels. And he said, Master, Master, she's coming. Who's coming? Rebecca. She's coming around the mountain when she comes. Well, when's she going to get here? When she comes. Around the mountain. Here she comes. Are you not listening? And Rebecca lifted up her eyes, and when she saw Isaac, she lighted off the camel and ran towards him. She's excited because Isaac is a hunk of burning love, if you know what I'm saying. For she had said unto the servant, What man is this that walketh in the field to meet us? She saw him walking in the field and was like, Ooh, it's a good-looking fella. Who's that? And the servant said, It is my master. Therefore she took a veil and covered herself, because that was called chastity. You don't want to be too presumptuous. It's actually very feminine of her to do. Covered herself with a veil. Why? Little mystery, little excitement, right? She thinks he's attractive already. He wants her, or she wants him to feel the same about her and give him a little something to dream about. Very nice. So you can feel the butterflies in her stomach as she rides closer to meet this guy. She's excited. This is exciting. Young love. There's nothing like it. And the servant told Isaac all things that he had done. And Isaac brought her into his mother Sarah's tent and took Rebekah. And she became his wife, and he loved her. And Isaac was comforted after his mother's death. That didn't last long. Didn't waste no time. In his mama's tent, no less. Jesus, Isaac. Anyway, it was exciting while it lasted. Man, now they're married. And they're going to have many babies. It's going to be beautiful. Anyway, Abraham took another wife, and her name was Keturah. And she bare him Zimran and Jokshan and Midian, not to be confused with Midian and Medan, and Ishbak and Shaw, or Shua. Maybe it was Shua. And Jokshan begat Sheba and Dedan. The sons of Dedan were Ashurim and Lethushim and Lumim. A lot of in that word. And the sons of Midian were Ephah and Epher. He was a mother, Epher. And Hannah and Abida. That's it, Abida. And Elda. That was the oldest one. And these were the children of Keturah. And Abraham gave all that he had unto Isaac, not these new breed. These are just kids of Abraham's. Isaac is the heir of Abraham. But unto the sons of the concubines which Abraham had, Abraham gave gifts and sent them away from Isaac his son, while he yet lived eastward unto the east country. So Abraham ain't slowing down. He's slinging it to everybody that'll take it. But he's not keeping the kids that come out of these unions. He's giving them a little dowry and sent them on their way. Send them out in the world. So ain't no telling who's related to Abraham. They're everywhere. But Isaac is the heir to his fortune, his throne, his promise, his covenant with God. All these other kids are just out there floating around. And who knows what families they produced. So he's had quite a few. He had, I don't know how many concubines he had, but the word is plural, so he had more than one. And they both had children, or more. However many he had, they had children. And he took another wife, and she had 4 kids. And they each had kids. Can you imagine what family reunion was like a couple of decades down the road, where all these kids have had kids and they all come together. You're talking about having to rent the mall to have a family reunion, the mall in Washington. Anyway. And these are the days of the years of Abraham's life, which he lived 163 years. That's 20, 40, 60, 75. So that's, he lived 175 years. Abraham did. And Abraham gave up the ghost and died in a good old age, an old man and full of years, and was gathered to his people. And his sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him in the cave of Machpelah in the field Ephron, the son of Zohar the Hittite. Now, notice this. Ishmael and Isaac were together when they buried their father. Isaac was not born yet when Ishmael was sent away with his mother to another land. They did not grow up together at all. So in their years, they came back together. I just want to point that out, that they were together when they buried their father at Machpelah, which is the field that Abraham bought from Ephron, the son of Zohar the Hittite. Yet they're still calling it his cave. So there's a little question there as to the ownership of this cave, which will come into play later on. But right now, I want you to understand that Isaac and Ishmael, the father of the Islamic tradition and the father of the Christian tradition, are together burying their father. There it is. They were not enemies. Which is before Mamre, the field which Abraham purchased of the sons of Heth. There was Abraham buried and Sarah his wife. So they're buried together. So you ever want to know where Abraham is at? He's buried with Sarah. Now, they know where Sarah's grave is. It's under a church right now in wherever it is. So Abraham's there too, or was. Now, later on, you're going to find out that Abraham's bones was carried around with the Israelites. So he doesn't stay there. It's interesting, isn't it? But he's there right now anyway. It came to pass after the death of Abraham that God blessed his son Isaac, and Isaac dwelt by the well 𝕊𝕬𝕪𝕪, which is French for very hairy. Now these are the generations of Ishmael, Abraham's son, whom Hagar the Egyptian, Sarah's handmaid, bare unto Abraham. And these are the names of the sons of Ishmael, by their names, according to their generations. The firstborn of Ishmael, Nebajoth, and Kedar, and Adbeel, and Mibsam, and Mishma, and Duma, and Massa, and Hadar, and Tema, and Jetur, and Napish, and Kedema. And these are the sons of Ishmael, and these are their names. By their towns, by their castles, 12 princes according to their nations. So, not only did Isaac have 12 sons, Ishmael had 12 sons also. And these are the years of the life of Ishmael, 137 years. And he gave up the ghost and died and was gathered unto his people. And they dwelt from Havilah unto Shur. That is before Egypt. As thou goest towards Assyria, And he died in the presence of all his brethren, which means he died in the presence of Isaac. And these are the generations of Isaac, Abraham's son. Abraham begat Isaac, and Isaac was 40 years old when he took Rebekah to wife, the daughter of Bethuel, the Syrian, of Padanaram. Anyway, the sister of Laban and Syrian, Laban the Syrian, and Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife because she was barren. She couldn't have kids. Interesting. She will. It's funny that Isaac's mother couldn't have kids until she had him. So it's a little interesting that that plays out that way. Anyway, so he's asking the Lord, he's praying to God to open her womb so she can give him a son. And the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah, his wife, conceived. How about that? So you pray to God, good things happen. And the children struggled together within her. In other words, she had twins. This is IVF before IVF, right? You pray to God and you have twins. Actually, twins are very common in the Bible. Cain and Abel were twins. Rebekah's children are twins. That would be Jacob and Esau, I would imagine. Let's find out. But they struggled together within her, and she said, if it be so, why am I thus? And she went to inquire of the Lord, God, why am I so pregnant? Why does it suck so much? Well, have you heard of Eve? Says God. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. Oh, really? That good, huh? And the one people shall be stronger than the other people, and the elder shall serve the younger. Note what he just said to her. The older will serve the younger. Well, that's not how it works. The older, the firstborn, is the heir to the throne, right? That's how inheritance works. The secondborn gets gifts and taken care of, but the firstborn is heir to all things of the Father. But not this time. He's saying that the older one will serve the younger one, not the younger one serve the older one. We'll see. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. Not nations, only 2 kids were in there. Did God lie? No, he was being metaphoric. 2 nations will come out of these 2 kids. And the first came out red, all over like a hairy garment. And they called his name Esau. He was red and was hairy from head to toe. You ever heard of that disease, the Wolfman disease? He had it. So he looked like a rug when he was born, like a garment. Big, red, and hairy. His name was Esau, which means red. Dana, if you're listening, take note of this verse. The first came out red. His name is Esau. Why? Because he was red. Okay. And he was hairy all over like a garment. He looked like a little wolf. And after that came his brother out. And his hand took hold of Esau's heel while he was coming out. And his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old, 60, when she bare them. So he was 40 when they met. He was 60 when they were born. It's 20 years. So 20 years of trying, I would imagine they were praying for a child. Anyway, the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter and a man of the field. That means he smelled like deer urine and stayed out hunting all the time and was always wearing camouflage and, that kind, and tree stand every morning, like my cousin Pee Wee Hodges. That guy, hog hunter extraordinaire. And Jacob was a plain man and dwelled in tents. He was an indoor cat. He didn't like it outside. He was into the internet. He played Dungeons and Dragons and collected Pokemon cards and that sort of thing. He was a sweet little boy. And Isaac loved Esau because he did eat of his venison, his deer meat, because he would always kill a big old buck and bring daddy home some deer meat. So Isaac was very happy with his son Esau. But Rebekah loved Jacob. He was a mama's boy, and she coddled him and let him get away with anything. He could wear his little wizard costume, and she would just laugh. Anyway. And Jacob sod pottage. And Esau came from the field, and he was faint. I don't know what sod pottage means. I'm guessing he made pots. I don't know. Esau came from the field and was faint, and Esau said unto Jacob, Feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore, I know what it means. He sopped pottage. Pottage is porridge. Okay, I got it now. So Jacob is sitting at the table eating porridge and sopping it with bread. It's red, by the way, which is also indicative of who he's talking about. Esau, who is red, because Esau means red. Thank you very much. Esau says, Feed me, boy, I'm hungry. From that bowl, let me have yours, is what he's saying. Therefore was his name called Edom, which means, everybody, red. Why? Because he said, Feed me, I pray thee, with your pottage, which is red, for I am faint. Therefore, because of that, they called him Edom. So Esau's name, nicknamed Edom, which means red. Why is that important? Because I said it, and somebody called me a liar and quit watching me because I said it, among other things. And Jacob said, Sell me this day thy birthright. You want my porridge? Give me your birthright. All right, there's the first clue. What is Esau's birthright? Esau is the firstborn. Means he's the heir to the throne of Abraham, of Isaac, actually. Which is important because that riches is going to be the creation of many nations throughout the next several generations, right? It really starts with Isaac. Israel starts with Isaac's children. Okay? So it's very important, this birthright. And Jacob, being a little boy, tells his brother, You want my porridge? You want my food? Give me your birthright. Sell it to me for this porridge. Well, Esau said, Behold, I am at the point, I'm about to starve to death. What profit shall this birthright do me? And Jacob said, Swear it to me this day. He says, Swear unto him. So Esau swore to Jacob, Fine, you can have my birthright. Just give me the porridge. Esau has not considered this being serious. Jacob is very serious. And he sold his birthright unto Jacob for a bowl of soup, basically. This is indicative of the prodigal son. This is indicative of many things that happen in the Bible. This is indicative of the subterfuge that Jacob's mother is going to pull on Isaac when he's old and dying. But it all started right here at the dinner table, where Esau and Jacob, between two brothers, Esau sold him his birthright, therefore making Jacob heir to the throne by right under God, because God takes oaths seriously. That's why you shouldn't swear to God, because he's listening, and if you swear, then you got to keep your word, even if you didn't mean it, because it's an oath. If you make an oath, you got to keep your promise, because you're only as good as your word. So between these two brothers, they made an oath. And Esau sold Jacob his birthright for that bowl of soup, and Jacob gave him that bowl of soup, and he consumed it. Birthright now belongs to Jacob, by God. Nobody else heard it but them two. It is not legal, but under God it is. So, everything that happens after this is predicated upon this decision. So when you say, well, what kind of mother would let their child lie to their father to get a blessing? That's God doing that, not Jacob. Jacob is not at fault here. It's not sneaky on his part. He's a little boy. He doesn't know any better. He was just doing what his mother told him to do. His mother knew it was wrong. She did it anyway. Jacob is innocent. But more than that, he already has the blessing because they made that deal at the dinner table between themselves. Just so you know. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. He didn't care. It didn't mean anything to him. He would rather be out in the field hunting anyway. He's a man of the field. He don't care about highfalutin stuff. He don't care about riches. Not yet. Not till he don't have it. And there was a famine in the land, besides the first famine that was in the days of Abraham. There was one then, and there's one now, meaning there's nothing to eat anywhere. And Isaac went unto Abimelech. Remember Abimelech? King of the Philistines, unto Gerar. Abimelech is the guy who originally blessed Abraham back in the day in order to not sleep with his wife. Now, that's the first Abimelech. This is the second Abimelech, his son. So it's not exactly the same guy, but it is the same situation in the same place. Just so you know. And the Lord appeared unto him and said, Go not down into Egypt. Dwell in the land which I shall tell thee of. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee, and I will bless thee. For unto thee and unto thy seed will I give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father. And I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and I will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because that Abraham obeyed my voice. That's why. And he kept my charge and my commandments and my statutes and my laws. Do you want to have the blessing of God? How do you do that? Has it ever crossed your mind? Do you know how to get God's blessing? Obey his voice. Keep his charge. Follow his commandments, his statutes, and his laws. And he will bless you. He's doing it for Abraham for that very reason. And Isaac dwelt in Gerar. And the men of the place asked him of his wife. And he said, She is my sister. Weird. I feel like we've done this before. For he feared to say, She is my wife, lest he said, The men of the place should kill me for Rebekah, because she was fair to look upon. Chip off the old grand block. Sound familiar? This is exactly the same thing that happened to Abraham and Sarah. Isaac is saying the same thing. He doesn't know that story, by the way, about Rebekah, who is gorgeous, as you may well know. This is the second Abimelech in Gerar to have had that happen to. It's just interesting the family keeps repeating the same history. I wonder if somewhere in the world today there's somebody in the land of Gerar making that claim exactly as it was all those generations ago. It's pretty interesting. It's like Groundhog's Day. It just keeps happening. And it came to pass, when he had been there a long time, that Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked out at a window and saw, and behold, Isaac was sporting with Rebekah his wife. They were making out. And Abimelech called Isaac and said, Behold, of a surety is she thy wife. She is thy wife. And how saidst thou, she is my sister? And Isaac said unto him, Because I said, lest I die for her. Dude, you see her? That's why we keep it a secret. She's gorgeous. Any man would cut my throat to have her. That's why. And Abimelech said, What is this that thou hast done unto us? One of the people might lightly have leaned with thy wife. He might have slept with her by accident, kind of lightly. And thou shouldest have brought guiltness upon us. Well, you shouldn't just bang anybody you see, but you're right. That was a risk. I suppose I'd have to trust my wife not to bang anybody or allow that to happen. Lightly, on by accident, slip and let somebody fall into her. And Abimelech charged all his people, saying, He that toucheth this man or his wife shall surely be put to death. Isaac is going to get the same treatment Abraham got. He's going to be multiplied and magnified because of the same kind of deal. Guilt of Abimelech. Interesting. Then Isaac sowed in the land and received in the same year 100-fold. And the Lord blessed him. Hey, when you get a blessing like that, it's awesome. He gets 100-fold what he started off with. Pretty sweet. And the man waxed great and went forward and grew until he became very great, for he had possessions of flock and possessions of herd and a great store of servants, and the Philistines envied him. He's starting to get bigger than Abimelech, right? Remember what happened with Abraham? Abimelech's going to start getting jealous, and he's going to want to make a deal because, Isaac is starting to become pretty wealthy, like Abraham back in the day. A threat, basically. For all the wells which his father's servants had digged in the days of Abraham his father, the Philistines had stopped them and filled them with earth. Well, that was dirty. Why would you do that? They envy him in his wealth. They want to put a stop to him growing, so they fill up all of his wells with dirt. Does he do anything about it? No, he just goes and digs them again. Abimelech said unto Isaac, Go from us, for thou art much mightier than we. Well, okay. So Isaac departed thence and pitched his tent in the valley of Gerar and dwelt there. And Isaac digged again the wells of water which they had digged in the days of Abraham his father, for the Philistines had stopped them after the death of Abraham. And he called their names after the names by which his father had called them. It wasn't pretty, I promise. And Isaac's servants digged in the valley and found there a well of springing water. Oh, that's a good well. That's a well that replenishes itself. And the herdmen of Gerar did strive with Isaac's herdmen, saying, The water is ours. And he called the name of the well Esek, because they strove with him. Esek means working together. Now, all of the Philistines are screwing with his wells that Abraham owns, right? All of that land still belongs to Isaac through Abraham. And they have a deal with Abimelech's father, Abimelech, that the two of them won't fight, that they'll help each other, that they'll work together. and they'll strive together instead of apart, much like this deal. The second Abimelech is kind of forsaken that arrangement, right? Told Isaac to leave because he's growing greater than the kingdom that he's in. And Abimelech is a little envious and probably a little jealous of his wealth and his power. Although Isaac has no desire to hurt him or take from him, he doesn't see it that way. So it's going to get hairy, but such is the nature of things. People can only be placated for so long, and then they show their true colors. It always works out the same way. You can put a clock on it. And they digged another well and strove for that one also. And he called the name of it Sitnah. And he removed from thence and digged another well, and for that they strove not. And he called the name of it Rehoboth. And he said, For now the Lord hath made room for us, and we shall be fruitful in the land. For now. And he went up from thence to Beersheba, where it all started. Remember Beersheba? So full circle as this whole clan came, and they are great beyond measure now. That doesn't really talk about it a lot in the book, but you can imagine he's talking with a king here. So he is not a normal peasant. He's a rich, rich man, Isaac is. And he's very great and powerful. His house is big. That's where we're going to stop for today, back at Beersheba. We'll pick up next week on 26-24 and see what God does with Isaac. Get down there. Thank you. Man, what an intense, fantastic book that was. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you learned something. I hope you figured out a few things about this family and how they came to be and who they are and where the people are in relationship to these families. But most of all, I hope it causes you to reach out to your Father Almighty God with both hands and ask him to come into your life and be part of your life and fix what ails you and help you understand the world you live in and what he expects from you and what you can do to please him. Don't you want to please your Father? I know I do. While you're thinking about that, why don't you do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, press the bell icon so you get notifications of when I'm going to be online. Smash that like button. It's free, it's effortless, it's right in front of you, and it really does help the channel with the algorithms. Helps us get recommended to other people. Won't you do that, please? Share this video with somebody you love. Better yet, share it with somebody you don't love. Bring them into the family. Make them part of the fold. Be part of their solutions, not part of their problems. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you're thinking about. Question me, curse me, bless me, challenge me, confront me, conform me, drink my Kool-Aid. Make your own Kool-Aid. As long as you're thinking critical, that's what I want. Critical thought coming from that brain of yours. And hey, if you love the Word of God and you can see the value in what I'm trying to build here, and you'd like to help me build it, well, consider joining the channel. Get yourself a JTag. Stand out in the crowd. Get a badge. Buy a t-shirt. Throw a super chat in the chat box. But if you feel like sending your tithes, offerings, or love offerings to this humble ministry to reach out and bring people to the Lord, you can do that by going to paypal.me/jakejohnsonband or Cash App $jakejohnsonband. Every little bit helps. It is a win-win. Of course, it's a blessing for me. But it's a blessing to you too, because God notices when you take care of his people. Now, I'll do everything in my power to be worthy of that support. I will answer all of your questions and comments as I always do right now. All right. What do you think? Did you learn anything? Could you hear me well enough through my scratchy voice and breathiness? I apologize for that. It's been a day. Anyway. Quite the interesting read that was tonight. I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope you learned something. Questions? Thank you, ma'am. Your Highness. Your Heinies. Okay. My man, Truth Be Told, says, I'm here, brother. Prayers. Well, thank you for being here, Truth Be Told. How you doing, buddy? Amanda says, you're welcome. It's all good. That's why we help each other. Amen. Amanda says, Truth, Amber, help her hand. Long time no see. How you doing? Or how you been? Truth says, Amanda, I have been amazing. Hang on, my chat jumped. Where did it go? Where did it go? I hate it when my chat jumps. And I went too far. Found it, though. Okay. Say I found it. There it is. Truth be told, says, Amanda, I have been amazing. How about you? Smiley face. Amanda says, I'm good, thanks. Judy says, hey, Truth. Amy says, sepulcher. Sepulcher. That's what happens when you die. You go into a sepulcher. I guess that's what you're asking. That's where he buried Sarah. Truth be told says, nice. Truth says, Judy, howdy, peace. Amanda says, a sepulcher. In the King James Version of the Bible, a sepulcher refers to a grave. Oh, you don't know what the word means. I'm sorry. It's like a casket, but made of stone. Or it could be a building that you put a dead body into, but mostly it's a box. There's an ossuary, there's a sepulcher, there's a mausoleum, and there is a tomb. They're all basically the same thing. I apologize. I thought everybody knew what that word meant. Okay. It refers to a grave, tomb, or burial place. Appears 54 times in the singular and 16 in plural. It's notably used in the account of Jesus' resurrection, or anytime anybody's buried. Amy says, thanks, Jamie. Pull that up, Jamie. Amanda says, you're welcome, Amy. Amy says, I have been in that situation, given a gift and then suggested I give it back. A gift is a gift and should be given freely, no strings attached. I agree wholeheartedly. In fact, I don't believe in loaning people money or anything for that matter. I'll give it to you, but I won't loan it to you because then I have to expect it back, and that puts a problem between me and you. The fastest way to ruin a friendship is to loan them money. Believe that. You can give it to them all day long, but don't loan it to them because then they won't pay you back, and that's a problem. Judy says, right, Amy. And Amanda says, those are Indian givers. And I should know I am one. Indian, not Indian giver. Judy says, LOL, Amanda. And Amanda says, Bethel, dweller in God's or man of God. Well, there you go. Or house of God. Being that you are the temple of God or the house of God. Dweller, that works. Amy says, how did she pour the water and cup her hands? She poured the water in her hand and he drank from her hand. Or she scooped it up out of the bucket and fed him with it. I don't really know. But that's what it says. One hand pours into the other probably. Or she just scooped it out of the bucket and fed him with it. And it could have been that way. I would imagine the bucket she was carrying was pretty big. I mean, she'd want to take as few trips as possible, so it'd probably be 2 buckets on a stick over her shoulder, right? I would guess. Either way, she personally fed him water, which is soft and kind and sweet. And virginal hands are tasty, you know. Very demure of her. Very sensual. I like it. Anyway, one hand pours into the other, probably, maybe. I'm not real sure. Bill Bennett says, hello, Untethered fam. Hey, Bill. What's up, buddy? Amanda says, Bill, hamburger helper hand. Judy says, hey, Bill. Amy says, does Rebecca have any say in the matter about who she marries? No. I know it was different times back then, correct. But as I explained, this is a thing that girls dreamed about and prayed that would work out like it worked out for her. A young, handsome, somebody she's attracted to, prince, that is wealthy, that will take her and make a future. Women had no future. So this happening is a blessing to her and her household, right? Because also in those days, you get a dowry when you take a wife, right? I take your daughter, I have to give you a dowry. That means you increase in value because I'm taking something of value from you. So I have to, it's like a purchase. So a lot of times marriages would be about land ownership. So people with property would come together and marry their children so that their property values would increase and their power along with it and their social status. Those days are gone, but that's the way it used to be. So this would be a very exciting time for her. She wanted to go. Absolutely, she wanted to go. And as you saw when they asked her, she didn't hesitate. Yes, I'll go, period. They wanted to keep her for 10 more days. She's like, no, I'm out of here. Let's go. Who is this young, handsome man we're going to go meet? And you got to imagine she didn't have the best life to start with. She's marrying into a family of wealth and privilege and prominence. That's a great upgrade for her life. And a woman who is married has power, right? So, yeah, she wanted that. She didn't have any say in the matter, but that it really doesn't really matter. Think about the world as it was in those days, and the whole system is different. So it ain't like today if you got married off and had no say, because nothing would really be in your favor. But in those days, getting married meant a lot of things for a lot of people. Hope that helps. I would argue those days are better, but never mind. Jake answered my question, says Amy. I hope so. Amanda says, I love hearing Jake try to pronounce these names. Abraham was a male hoe? Yeah. Hence the song, says Amy. Father Abraham had many sons. Many sons had Father Abraham. Yeah, he was slinging it wherever he could sling it. Believe that. But Isaac got the heir, so he stayed true to that, so that's good. Amanda says, right, Amy. And Amy says he was a ginger, talking about Esau. More so than a ginger, he was red. Not just auburn, red. Yeah, he was a ginger. And also, David was a ginger. Adam was a ginger. Absalom was a ginger, and possibly Jesus. I don't know that to be true, but it's possible. Boiled stew or soup, says Amy, Amanda. Sod pottage. Yeah, he was sopping up pottage with bread. I got it. I just ain't never heard it called pottage before. It's porridge, but same thing. I mean, I have heard it. I've read the Bible before, but it slipped my mind. Amy says, LOL, I love the way you add modern day references. Mama's boy. I'm just trying to put it in a context that you would understand what kind of people they are. Because that would exactly, if that happened today, that's who these people would be. And that's the only thing I know, so I have to draw a reference wherever I can. But thank you. I hope it brings the story to life a little bit. It makes you understand the personalities of these people. Amanda says, great read, Jake. Thank you. Thank you for listening, and thank you for all that you do backing up all the words that I don't know anything about. And Amy says, thanks, Jake. My pleasure, and thank you. Judy says, great read, Jake. Thank you, Judy, and thank you for listening. Fab Daddy says, happy Monday. Get well, Amy. Hey, Fab Daddy. Nice to see you. Amy says, hi, Fab. Linda says, hi, Fab. Fab Daddy says, hi. Judy says, hey, Fab. Fab Daddy says, hey. Amanda says, Fab, hamburger helper hand. And Fab says, hamburger helper hand back. And Amanda says, oh, you're not going to call me any new name, Fab? Fab says, as long as you don't call me by your new name. And Amanda says, anyway, thanks for the new title. I'll own it. I will own deplorable. At least I'm smart. Fab Daddy says, I don't want to be called dimwit or dildo. I won't own that. I wouldn't have called you that. I would have called you a moron, but not one of those names. I don't think you're dimwitted or dildo-ish. And Amanda says, I don't call you that, so ... And Amy says, hey, it's Bible study. Let's study the lesson, you two. Right? Amanda says, but it's okay. I'm a big girl with a big girl panties. Again, Bible study. Amanda says, oh, I am. I just had to say it. It was way too funny. Well, you know, be respectful as Bible study. Y'all can argue all you want, but not while we're studying God's word. Fab Daddy says, so was deplorable to me. I laughed. She might be deplorable, but she's not wrong. You have to own that. You saw the evidence. She brought receipts. Amanda says, I'm a ginger. LOL. No, you're not. You know what ginger means? You're not a ginger. Debbie says, I'm a Marianne, Amanda. Yeah. I like them both, Ginger and Marianne. They both have unique qualities that are very desirable. Bill Bennett says, kids distracting me too much to pay attention. I love y'all. God bless. I hear you, Bill. Pay attention if you can. And we love you too. And Amanda says, I'm a smart deplorable, though. Don't forget that. And good night, Bill. And Judy says, bye, Bill. Not fully ginger anymore, but it's still there. Okay. Having red tint to your hair and being a ginger are not the same thing. What's that singer's name? Young boy. Redheaded. No. Her red hair's dyed. No, a ginger is got very different colored skin and red-headed to the bone. Red freckles, red skin, red hair, light-colored eyes, light-colored eyelashes. That's what a ginger is. You are not a ginger. There's nobody in your family that's a ginger. You do have red hair, but it is not ginger red hair. It's more like auburn hair. Like my mother was a ginger. And you aren't that. I got a little ginger in me, but it's in my DNA, but it doesn't present. You can't see it. Amy says, good night, y'all. Have a good night on and Tuesday. Thank you. I'm going to take that Tuesday and work on my bike, I think. I don't think I'm going to get a Tuesday off, but thank you. I hope you get to feeling better and take care of yourself. Rest. And enjoy thinking about the story tonight. It's a very lovely story, I think. And Judy says, bye, Amy. And Amanda says, good night, Amy. And Fab Daddy says, 2 and 5. Amanda says, Richie is a ginger, my brother. If I remember correctly, he did have red hair. He may be a ginger, but I'd have to see his face. Can't remember. Kevin says, the way I see it, there's a level of respect that has to be given to everyone in chat. I agree. 100%, Kevin. Speak your mind, buddy. Amanda says, night, Lefty Fab. Debbie says, I went to school with a ginger and almost albino-like. Yes, it's very near to albino. Albino is white. Ginger is red, but it's the same affliction, right? When you see a ginger, you know it's a ginger. There's no questioning it. Being a redhead ain't the same as being a ginger, although they are redheaded. And Fab Daddy says, LOL. But they have the same features as an albino. You can see it in the eyes. Their eyelashes are almost clear, right? Their skin is almost clear. That's what a ginger is. Ed Sheeran, that's the guy I was thinking of. That guy's a ginger. See how my brain works? I'll think of something that'll take me 10 minutes to find it, and then it'll pop out. Terrible. I used to be quick-witted. I'm just witted now, but not quick. Anyway, anybody got any questions about the story tonight? What's being set up? Who is? Where these families are doing? What they're setting up? Or do you understand it all? You got it? That's just 'cause you're old, Jake, says Amanda. Either it's because I'm old or my hard drive is full and I hadn't figured out how to defrag yet. Or I'm starting to delete things to make room for other things, one or the other. I'm probably just old, though. Kevin says, Fab Daddy, was that LOL directed towards me? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Oh, Fab Daddy says, no, Kevin, but hi. Kevin says, hello, Fab Daddy. Amanda says, no, I think it was towards me, Kevin. I think so, too. The LOL was for the Lefty Fab. Right. It's all good. Y'all kids behave. Don't make me get the water hose. Debbie says, to the woodshed, Amanda. Let's see how old Jake is. Pretty old. Kevin says, I missed a lot of hellos tonight. Hello, Kevin. I'm sorry if you missed a hello, but you are well welcomed, so. Amanda says, I thought so. And LOL, Deb, he can't hang. What are you talking about? I can't hang. I'll teach you a lesson, young lady. In the woodshed. Kevin says, I like to listen on Bible study night. I hear you, buddy. Did you hear anything that you liked? Amanda says, LOL, please. Kevin says, not comment so much. Well, you'll have that sometimes. It gets a little monotonous and people want to break the tension. I think everybody's listening. Maybe not paying attention so much would be nice, but I understand where you're coming from. And I appreciate that. But people have different ways of learning, so you and I are focused learners. Not everybody can do that. Am I going to give Amanda a wet t-shirt contest? Get the hose? No. I might squirt the two of you to separate you, though. Kevin says, no offense, I'm not interested in who's getting busy with who so much. Understood. No offense taken. There happens to be a lot of that in the Bible, though, so it's kind of important to know where those people came from. That'll help you understand why things happen the way they do later on in the Bible. That's the reason for it. It ain't about the getting busy. It's about the who the family lines are. I thought Genesis would be much different. Most people have that reaction, which is why I spend a lot of time trying to lay it out like a play of reality, like something you've seen before or somebody you recognize. Because a lot of people expect the Bible to say things that it doesn't say. And you're going to feel that way more than once. And you're going to be surprised about some things that it does say that you didn't think would be in there. That's the nature of the Bible, though. That's why it's important to read it. Well, Fab Daddy, you only caught the last 20 minutes of the read, but there's this little button down there. It's called a rewind button. You can scroll all the way back to the beginning and catch it from the beginning. And Kevin says, Jake, you're great at helping me understand the wording. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's what I'm here for. What's important is that you understand the wording. It's not important that I'm good at it. I don't care. I'm the middleman. What's important is that you're sinking in and understanding what God's trying to do here. And I'm hoping I'm getting that across. And Linda says, everyone seems to be getting busy with everyone, and I can't keep it straight. Yeah, there's a lot of it going on. But if you think about it, that's how we got here. The world wouldn't be the world if everybody didn't get busy. So that's kind of important. It's a part of the whole thing. Which is why puritanical thinking has always amazed me. Why do those people think that it's so bad? This puritanical new age way of thinking, when the Pilgrims came over and they got all crazy and staunch and rested on their laurels and made women wear A's on their skirts if they had adultery or whatever. Do you not understand how people are made, you puritanical people? The first thing God ever said was, have lots of sex and fill up the earth. That was his first commandment. It's kind of important. I mean, there's a right way and a wrong way to do things, but it's kind of important. Kevin says, Linda, LOL. Kevin says, Linda, everybody but me. Aw. I'm sorry, Kev. I'll buy you a ticket to get to Debbie, and then that won't be a problem anymore. Amanda says, it's all part of the creation. I like to know who is who. Right on. Debbie says, in the beginning, the world was a 70s commune. Pretty much, yeah. Linda says, right there with you, Kevin. Kevin says, smiley, smiley, smiley. Well, trust me, both of you, the Lord does have a plan, and if you'll follow his word, he will let that plan be known to you. And you are included in it, I promise. Don't feel left out just yet. There's still time to have a good life. You just have to keep moving forward. I'll give you my word on that. You just have to believe and move forward. And it ain't that hard to do. And believe me when I tell you, there's a lot of people out there in the world that need a good human being to love them. And if you present with that first and foremost, they would take you in a heartbeat. You do not have to be alone. It took me 15 years, but I found it. So 15 years is not a short amount of time. So if you ever feel lonely, just remember what 15 years feels like. I was basically a monk. You could call me Kwai Chang Kang. I was roaming from town to town, solving crimes with my kung fu. That was me. 15 years. And now I can die fat and miserable. So you can too. Don't let it weigh you down. Don't let that be the focal point of your life. There's a lot of good things in this world to give, a lot of good things to experience. Love is just one of the most important things you can ever do, but it's only one thing. There are lots of other ways you can express yourself. Just remember that. And somebody find Aaron. Where's he at? Amy says, I'm going out of my character and taking a leap. I'm going to meet Aaron. If I can do it, so can y'all. Right there, Amy. That's right. And it's beautiful that you're going to take that step. I support that 100%. And I know that you'll be safe. So you have my backup on that you'll be safe during your journey. And nothing will happen that you don't want to happen. I know you already know that, but I'll back him up on that one. Amanda says, smiley, smiley, smiley. Good for you, Amy, says Kevin. Judy says, Aaron seems like a really nice man, Amy. He is. He is really good, salt of the earth kind of dude. Amy says, he's asleep, 10:27. Oh, I see. Thanks. Love you too. That was a compliment. Aaron is asleep. Yeah, he is. Amanda says, you go, Amy. Enjoy. And if nothing else, you will have a good friend in the end. And you'll have a good time. You'll have a good vacation. And maybe if the sparks fly and the worlds align and everything works out, you'll have a romance, which is always the risk worth taking, right? That if you don't, it's better to have loved and lost than to have never loved at all, is the old saying. You have to go out and try, or else you don't ever get that opportunity to have that fireworks. If you get that, what a great blessing that is. But if you don't, it's still going to be fun. You don't have to worry about any of the stresses of taking a leap because you know you're going to be safe. I've got people in that area that can be with you in 15 minutes. All you got to do is say a word and somebody will come get you. I'll give you my word on that. So you can relax. You can enjoy the visit. You can enjoy the company. And if things work out, even better. So it's good all the way around, as far as I can see. And if you get uncomfortable, just give me a holler and I'll have somebody pick you up in 15 minutes, get you out of there. But I don't think you had to worry about that. But like I said, I've known Aaron long enough to know that he's good people. And I think you guys will hit it off because you both have very similar senses of humor. I think y'all probably like a lot of the same things. I think it'll be a great, fun trip for you. All right, it's 10:30 and it's the bottom of the chat. So I'm going to go to bed now. I hope you guys enjoyed the read tonight. I hope you had a good time. I hope that you have some hope for the future and for tomorrow and see the love of the world coming together and all the good, beautiful things that the Bible purports. I hope you're beginning to see more and more of it. And we will pick this up again next weekend. And for now, I will see you on Wednesday. Have a great night. I love each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart. I love you true. I do. Be nice to people when you go out into the world. I promise you that simple act will change your life. Just be nice. That's it. And I promise it'll make everything start popping in your world. It will. Amanda says, night all. See you Wednesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on Untethered Live for a chill stream. Much love, y'all, hearts. And Judy says, bye, y'all. Kevin says, good night, everyone. And Amy says, he is a gentleman, too. He is. It's going to be good. Linda says, well, good night, all. See you all Wednesday. All right. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope you had a good night. Debbie says, good night, everybody. Here's to you. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.